Hey, so I'm going to try and break down the matrix of working out or physical activity from systems perspective for y'all. So, first, it depends on your goal, right? Um, if your goal is only to be healthy and do, just the minimum necessary to maximize your longevity, um, then it really doesn't matter what you do. You just need to do enough movement. You just need blood flow in your muscles for a certain proportion of your life. Really, that's all it is. And what that proportion is differs for different people. It's going to be different for everyone at different stages of their lives. Um, but really, just having blood flow to the muscles for a certain portion of your day, of your life, is really all that's required. It doesn't have to be cardio, it doesn't have to be weights, it doesn't have to be heavy. Um, just just movement. Um, so if your goals expand beyond that, it gets more specific. So if your goal is to be super strong, well then you got to lift heavy weight to be able to lift heavy weight. If your goal is to be super hypertrophied, well you need a lot of volume and a lot of calorie surplus. So you just need time under tension. Um, you need to go closer to failure. Um, and well, I guess you don't need to go closer to failure, but that's a common tactic because it definitely works for hypertrophy, but it's not necessary. Um, you do need a certain amount of stimulus. It can't be super light. In other words, though, it has to be straining the muscle. You have to have progressive overload. Progressive overload necessary for hypertrophy and for strength, but in different ways. Um, you can gain hypertrophy with low reps and high weight as well, but it's not necessary to do it that way. That's the most effective way for strength. Works for hypertrophy too. Um, and if your goals are um, mobility, high mobility, then you're going to want to focus on training the muscles under stretched or lengthened positions. You want your muscles to be getting longer as you exercise them rather than shorter with every repetition or whatever movement you're putting the muscle under. You want the strain to take place under lengthened positions of the muscles if you are prioritizing mobility. If you're prioritizing athleticism, then you want to become fascia driven. You want to train neural recruitment, motor control, complex motor control, fascial health, um, explosivity for athleticism. Um, and that comes from training coordinated movements, and quick movements. Quick and coordinated is the perfect combo for that. Um, if you want to become ultra flexible, which is not necessarily good for your health, I'm talking contortionist level. It's not really a good thing in general. But if that's your goal, then passive stretching is required. Probably can't get there um, solely from training strength under length movements. Um, I guess in a way, that's sort of passive stretching requires a certain degree of strength. So, in a way, that's false. But it definitely requires a certain extra level of intention to be able to do stuff like that. And if you are the average person, and you just want to optimize your life in every way, then what you're going to want to go for is a moderate, um, medium level of hypertrophy. Um, Honestly, having significant muscle isn't that important, but having a little bit is useful. So just a medium level of hypertrophy, um, and you want that combined with a high level of relative strength and athleticism and mobility. Well, if you want to combine all those things, that definitely requires the most um, coordinated approach, the most holistic systems thinking based approach is necessary to optimize for gaining those four areas all at once. And it absolutely can be done. It just requires smart training. Um, the foundation of that is going to be training strength under length, because you can gain hypertrophy, strength obviously, and mobility from training strength under length. That's the foundation, as well as training athleticism through flow-like movements to train the fascia, keep fascia healthy and neural connection healthy, as well as athletic explosive movements that are relatively low impact so that you can do them continuously without having to reduce training volume significantly. So training that combination, athleticism, flow, coordination, explosivity movements in combination with strength under length movements is the most efficient way to progress towards that goal. And finding that optimal balance of progressive overload, but having the maximum stimulus for growth that still leads to the minimal necessary recovery time to be fully recovered for the next training cycle. So in other words, there's always this balance between how much recovery you need and how much work you put in. If you overtrain, then your progress will not be maximally efficient. If you wait too long in between sessions, then your progress won't be maximally efficient. So you want to find that perfect sweet spot of optimal recovery and optimal training stimulus in each interval. And so finding that is really the hardest part about the whole thing, because the training modalities for athleticism, for strength under length, mobility, power, hypertrophy, all of that is science that's very well understood, and it's easy. There's nothing left really to discover for the most part. There's subtleties always that become clearer, but the majority of the knowledge is understood and easily available and actionable. The greatest difficulty in this process is finding that sweet spot between recovery and stimulus. And so the reason why that's difficult is because it's different for everyone based on your genetics, your current lifestyle, your current habits, your current stress levels, your mental circumstances, your past. So, in your total energy, all of these factors go into determining what is that optimal level of that optimal relationship between stimulus and recovery. And so that should be the majority of the learning journey for everyone, is finding that balance. And the way that balance is found is, of course, going to be through conscious intentionality being integrated into our movement, into whatever form of movement we do, whatever form of working out we undergo, bringing that intentionality into every aspect of it, that consciousness into every moment of it, then we develop that sense of intuition. And over time, as our sense of intuition develops, we notice the subtleties in our energy levels and our output levels and our needs for recovery, and our responses to stimulus. And so we become more intuitive to these changes, the subtleties of these changes, and we gain the ability to further optimize through changing our behaviors, through this developing understanding of our body as a holistic system. So that's really what the process looks like. And yeah, I think that's pretty much the matrix of movement. So thank you for watching. Subscribe if you want to see future content, and yeah, leave some comments if you have thoughts. I'm interested to hear them. All right, bye.